so Herwerden, den v. 2 so Dindorf, Genomenon v. 3 so Dindorf, Enichirais P.E. Licinius Crassus served as legate under the consul L. Caesar in 95.0 and was defeated in Lucania. 3. On Sulla's achievements see above chap. 2.8. 4. So Valesius, Proctheni Ptzes, Hegemonias Tuus, Hegemonas Valesius, Vulgate. 1. Appian, Myth. 1819 also reports on 3 separate occasions this politic conduct on the part of Mithridates. The prisoners were, of course, for the most part, natives or inhabitants of the Greek cities in the province. 2. M. Aquilius had been sent to Asia in 89 NC, at the head of an embassy to restore the kings of Bithynia and Cappadocia to their thrones, whom he then incited to attack Mithridates. After his capture, Mithridates had him killed at Pergamum by pouring molten gold down his throat as a rebuke to Roman greed. Appian, Myth, 21. 3. The Greek text, continuing here without a break, would seem to refer this to Aquilius, who was, however, now in middle age, consul 101.8, consul 101.8. Possibly the young man was his son, but this suggestion, put forth by T. Reynesch, is no more than a surmise. So Valesius, Euton P2 Proselthine Dindorf. 3. So Valesius, Cappadoxy 8, Appian Myth 24-26 for the naval engagements in Mithridates' assault on Rhodes. 2. P. Plutarch, Marius 34-3, who relates this in connection with Marius's ambitions for the Eastern Command. So Herwerden, DP2, D after Demutheuses deleted by Dindorf. 3. So Rieski, Daulos P4, so Valesius, Svon P5 so Valesius Polomois P in general, with the present narrative to the death of Marius. Plutarch, Marius 3446, and Appian BC. 1. Pu 226. Proconsular Africa, CP. Plutarch, Marius 40, and Appian BC. 1. 62. 3. This refers to his support of Cinna after the latter's expulsion from the consulate and from Rome. So, Wesseling, Schulen, 8, Axi, P2 Adicos Dindorf. 3. So Geer, Cori V, Othiamai, Dove, Wifstrand at Praeneste in 82-8 CE. The year of his consulship. C5Q, Mucius Scaevola, see above on chap. 5, was killed in 82-8.6. By order of the consul, the younger Marius, see books 38-9. 17. Scaevola was at this time Pontifex Maximus. 8. Probably P. Licinius Crassus, consul in 97 BC, who perished together with his son during the reign of terror in 87 BCE. So Dindorf, 750 v. EP Nock, 750 VIP, Nock, 7 Euripides, Fra 324. 2. Cratiste, Panton Cratistuon Nock. 3. So v. Boissevane. Earlier editors read Ptolemais. The beginning of a much-quoted passage from the Danae of Euripides, 324 Nock. 2. Nock 7. G. F. For Ades. 181. C. N. Ades. 129. 4. T.D. For Aid Esp. 130. 4. So Dindorf, Therian v. 5. Proferesti Herwerden Dindorf, Opotni o Herman. 7. So Dindorf, Cruciu Fanon, 8. Ace, v. So May, a portata the bracketed supplements are by Lambros. 2. So Suidas, MC. Var, L. The Codex Athols 4932. 3. So Lambros from Planudes. 4. Puranon L5, so L. Planudes. Diaphoronta Suidas Plutarch. 5. Aphorisai L. 7D on L. Planudes. Gun Suidas. 8. So Planudes. A. Stamnes L. In Estamenes Suidas Plutarch. 5. Canisai L. 10. So Becker. E. L. Planudes. O. Suidas Os Plutarch. 11. K toi alta suidas, Plutarch, to alta L. Planudes. John of Antioch and Plutarch both assign the portent recorded in this passage to the first consulship of Sulla, 88 BC, and the passage therefore belongs either here or near the end of Book 37. The error in dating 662 AVC for 666 derives from Eutropius 5:4, John of Antioch's chief source for this period. Julius Obsequens 57 records a somewhat similar portent in 83 BCE, CP. Also, Appian BC 1:83. 2. Despite the express citation, it is clear that John of Antioch's immediate source was Plutarch. Keep, c. Historia 14 1965, 240,244. Plutarch adds a melon after eton. So Plutarch. Melontes L. Planudes Melantai Suides. 5 in Boissevain's edition of Cassius Dio, Vol. 1, Berlin 1905, p.e. XVIII. 4 So Boissevain, O.V. O.T. Herwerden. 5 O's after Excelluthos deleted by Herwerden, or Prostexato Herwerden. The Etruscan doctrine as set forth by Censorinus de Die Natali 1756 held that each people was assigned a given number of sacula, 10 in the case of the Etruscans themselves. The length of each successive saculum was determined by the lifespan of the longest-lived inhabitant. The new age that began in 88 8.0 was either the 8th or, less probably, the 9th. K. Late, Philologus 87, 1932, 269. It is difficult to say how faithful our passage is to the authentic Etruscan doctrine, and to what extent, if at all, it is colored by reminiscences of the Hesiodic 5 ages. The fact that our text, in contrast to that of Plutarch, implies an inevitable deterioration in each succeeding age is probably not significant. Tool. Cornelius Cinna, consul from 87 to 84 BCE, was originally elected as a creature of Sulla, but once in office attempted to recall Marius and the exiles and was expelled from Rome by his colleague Octavius. He joined forces with Marius and soon put the city in jeopardy. For the confer ends reported here, see Appian BC 169. 3q. Caecilius Metellus Pius. He had returned to Rome, probably from Samnium, to oppose the Marians. A rather different account of this second conference, if the same one, is given in Appian BC 170 and Plutarch Marius 43. 1:4. The word used here is strategos, not opatos, but this may be the fault of the excerptor. Oyen added by Boissevain. 2. So Dindorf, Catale Posen, v. lacuna indicated by Dindorf. Herwerden reads anew for Pera. 4. So Dindorf, Anadexa Stai v. 5 me Periteron Walton, Depa Alton P, Mepa Auton Valatius, Sisto F, Opa Auton Mudvig. 5 Genesestai, Herwerden Dindorf, Ken. Octavius, the other consul of 87 BCE, who was killed in office after the return of Cinna and Marius. 2. L. Cornelius Merula, the Flamen Dialis, who as consul suffectus in place of Cinna held office for part of 87 BC. When brought to trial by the Marians, he committed suicide. 3. If this is the embassy described in Chap. 2. The order of the two fragments should be reversed. Catullus had been the colleague of Marius in the consulate of 102 8 CE. For his death, see also Appian BC 174. As a sequel to his account of the Marian Reign of Terror, Diodorus in this fragment gives a summary of the future course of the civil war. Mithridates accepted Sulla's terms at Dardanus, 85 Pio, but Sulla did not return home to Italy until 83 Pio. By then, both Marius and Cinna were dead. Marius died early in his 7th consulship on January 13, 86-3 CE. Teep, Book 37, 29, 4. Cinna was murdered in 84. BC. Sontelean Oipau Cor. 2 Paradigma added by Dindorf. 5. Cathie Romanon Herwerden, Dindorf fee, see also Plutarch, Sulla, 12, who adds many details. The seizures occurred during Sulla's siege of Athens in 87 or 87-6 BC2. The land so consecrated was half the territory of Thebes. Plutarch, Sulla, 19-6, Pausanias 19-6, Pausanias 9-7-6, O. Valesius, Tomesea, Tu Prostagmasius, Phalesius, Phalasius, Eleponton P.E. Valerius Flaccus, elected as consul suffectus in 86 BCE, after the death of Marius. Assigned to the command against Mithridates, he was killed in a mutiny of his troops by his legate C. Flavius Fimbria, who instigated the mutiny. The present incident occurred during the march through Thrace to Byzantium in the winter of 86-55.6, so Salmasius, Opacosantas, Aresius, Opacosantas are 2 E's added by Rice. It was at Nicomedea that Flaccus was killed. Appian, Myth, 52. After his death, Fimbria assumed command of the army. 2 more literally, by dying, but once he defaulted on the many deaths for which he owed a debt of retribution. His suicide took place in the Asclepium at Pergamum, or at Iatira, after his army had been wrested from him by Sulla. Fimbria's most notorious act was the destruction of Ilium. Appian, Myth, 53, Dio Cassius, 35, 104, 7. 8 So Dindorf, Fibrinos v. 4 Anatropy Dindorf, Corde added by Valesius, T.E. I. Epimelea Valesius, 10, Epimelian P3, D added by Valesius. 4. So Dindorf, Operatumenor, in contrast to the usual procedure of reclining at dinner. 2. This was in Picenum, where Pompey had ancestral estates, Seep. Plutarch, Pomp. 6. Velleius Paterculus, 2, 29. He was at this time only 23 years old. 3. L. Iunius Brutus Damasippus, a legate in command of a force of Marians. For the engagement see Plutarch, Pomp. I. 12 won their first encounter. Sulla saluted Pompey as Imperator. Plutarch, Pomp. 8. D. Epi Post. DVD Pro Dindorf. 2. Telecouton Stratomaton Dindorf. Telecouton Strato Maton V. 3. Met Asphileus Valesius. Metaphilius R. 4. So Valesius. Aretes P5. So Herwerden. Methini P.R. So Valesius. Cosmius P. It is not certain just what victory is here referred to. Possibly the fragment should be assigned to 82 BCE. U.L. Cornelius Scipio Asiaticus consul in 83 8t, since Appian B.C. 1. 8586 clearly dates this event, which occurred at Teanum in 83 5.0. Seep, also Plutarch, Sulla, 28, 13. The fragment belongs here, or possibly before chap. 10, rather than in the place assigned to it by Dindorf. 3. His re-entry into the war, CP. Appian B.C. 1. 95, seems to have been brief and inglorious. It was possibly on this occasion that he lost an army to Pompey. Plutarch, Pomp. 1. 340 Fabius Hadrianus, governor of Africa since 84 BC to Nianisco Madvig, ton Nianiskon V, ton Nianiskon V, ton Nianikon Herwen. 2. Cats, Cater, added by Dindorf. 3. So Dindorf, Polemon V, 1 C. Marius the Younger was at this time only 26 years of age. The men who rallied to his support were his father's veterans. 2. Presumably this means in regard to the 2 opposing leaders, Sulla and the young Marius. 3. Perpennas of owls came to naught, and when he was driven from Sicily by Pompey, Plutarch, Pomp. 10. 1. He fled to Sertorius in Spain. Egcataleponton A. 1 I.E. Favorite of Aphrodite. In the Roman West, the name assumed by Sulla was Felix Ep. Plutarch, Sulla, 4, 2, and Appian B.C. 1. 97. For a discussion of both names, see the article Sulla Felix by J.P.V.O. Balsden in J.R.S. 41, 1951, 110. The choice of the Greek name may have been influenced by the status of Aphrodite, both as divine progenitor of the Romans and as patron of gamblers, a Lady Luck. 2. When Marius, blockaded in Praenest, realized that the situation was hopeless. He sent word to Junius Brutus Damasippus, Praetor Urbanus, to do away with the alleged leaders of the opposition at Rome. Appian, B.C. 188. Velleius Paterculus, 226. On Scaevola, Ep. Book 37. 5 and 37. 29. 5 od hoc epthes, as if continuing chap. 14. V2v omits epibomios. 370e. 4. So v, as read by May, Axum. V. Boisavain, Acoimisto P. Acoimiton Hawerden. 26. The Temple of Vesta. 2. On Sulla's proscription c, among others, Appian, B.C. 1 9596, Dio Cassius, 35. 109. Plutarch, Sulla, 31. 5. Onomacy P. O. So Hawerden, Epicalapsamenos P. 7. So Valesius, Perisestai P. Poriesse Hawerden, Din Dors, Peripoisestai, Reiske, Reiske. So Salmasius, Valesius, Pletian P. on Pompey and Sicily Cup. Plutarch, Pomp, 10, and Cicero, Leg. Man, 61. The age given here is wrong, as he was born in 106 8.6. Spartacus was a Thracian who headed a revolt of gladiators in Capua in 73 5.6. The revolt involved all of southern Italy and was not put down until 71 BCE. Appian, BC 116,120. 8. See the following fragment, Book 37, 22, on Sertorius, ad init so feda, Cataiomenes su kai aute feda, Dindorf. 8. Mr. Forrest Dindorf. 4. So feda, Miller, Sumbelon 8. 5. So de Boer, Monocriton S. Monocriton feda, Dindorf. 10. Sertorius, Praetor in 83 NCE, retired at the end of the year to his province of Spain, where he found popular support and, with one interruption, maintained a sort of government in exile until his death in 72 NC. For the story of his decline and fall, see Plutarch, Cert. 25-27, Appian, B.C. 1. 112,114, Sallust, Hist. 3. Fries. 8,189, Morenbrecher. In his edition of the collection De Insidias, Miller noted, Ifg 2 PXI, that the passage on Sertorius should be inserted post XVIII 22, though this is clearly a misprint for XXX 22. The instructions were followed literally in Dindorf's final edition of the text. This and the following chapter on Mithridates have therefore been removed to their proper chronological position here at the end of books 38-9. See my discussion. 4. J.P. 77, 1956, 412,413. So Feda, Tarquinius, and Tarquinio, S. 2. So Feda, Meilla, Cataperestheas, 8. 3. Prospoitos Dindorf. 1. On Perpenna, see above, note on chap. 14. C. Tarquitius Priscus was one of Sertorius's legates. The Marcus Antonius mentioned below is not known apart from his role in the conspiracy. 2. Sallust gives a different account of the seating heist. 3. Free. 83 M.E. S3. Mithridates. Siege of Cyzicus is variously dated to the winter of 74-3 BCE, so Broughton magistrates, 2. 106,108 of to the winter of 73-2 BCE, so Magi Roman rule in Asia Minor, 12,041,205, Note 5, Note 5. For what it may be worth, the order of the fragments of Diodorus would support the later date. The story told here amplifies the brief mention of the king's near capture recorded in Strabo 12. 8. 11. P. 576, Appian Myth. 7,576 also mentions the mining operations. So, Feder Miller, Biz, Orkafusen, 8 per Ortu Herwerden, Parasi, 3 So Feder, Upacuestai S, 4 so Herwerden, Kai so Ursinus, Lucius, O2 so Dindorf, so 2 so Dindorf 3 so Westling, Ducios o Sinose, O3 so Westling. Antonius Creticus, father of the Triumvir, as praetor in 74 BCE, was given an imperium infinitum to combat piracy throughout the Mediterranean. In 72 or 71 BCE, he was severely defeated by the Cretan pirates and forced to conclude a humiliating peace. The exact date of the Cretan embassy is not certain, but on the basis of Cicero, ver. 2:76, it appears to be February 69 5.0, rather than 70, with the ultimatum following later in the same year. Or Schaefer, Exabale to O. 2, perhaps an anaguron. 3, Tetraskalmo Suidas 5.0, Tetraskalu O. 4, Epheson Dindorf. 1, or if an is inserted, see critical note, attempted to pass a decree whereby, absolving the Cretans, they would proclaim them, etc. 2. The exact identity of this Lentulus Spinther is not certain, but probably he should be listed as a tribunus plebis of 70 or 69 ZC. The tribunician powers were restored in 70 BCE. The rejection of this ultimatum resulted in a declaration of war in 69-8 CEE, though apparently the consul Metellus Creticus did not take the field until the following year, though Dio Cassius 35-111 seems to combine the ultimatum with the embassy of the Cretans to Rome, and Appian 6 sets the embassy after the declaration of war. The account of Diodorus seems intrinsically more probable. 4. Antiodorus seems intrinsically more probable. 4. Antiochus XVIII, known as Atticus, the son of Antiochus X, between 69 and 64 5.6. He held the throne for 2 brief periods. Ca. Ray Bellinger, The End of the Seleucids, Trans. Connecticut Acad. 38, 1949, 8284. G. Downey, A History of Antioch in Syria, Princeton, 1961, 136,172. O. Feder, Miller, Gruptor 8. 2. So Feder, Samsukaramu 8. 3. So Miller, E5. Philip Ill, known as the heavy-footed Baripos, who reigned briefly in 67-6 and again in 66-5 BCE. The subject of the sentence is evidently Antiochus. Sampsiceramus was a sheik of Emissa. 3. On the death of Queen Salome Alexandra in 67 BCE, Hyrcanus, though the elder son, was forced after a short struggle to recognize Aristobulus as king and high priest. The struggle was soon resumed, Antipater and the Nabateans supporting Hyrcanus, but was interrupted by the appearance on the scene of Pompey's lieutenant, Scaurus, in 65 BC2, so Dindorf 8 and V2, so Walton CP, Justin 36. 3. 9. Jeru V, Surio Herwerden, Suru Madvig, Dindorf reads Proisticotas to Jeru, 3-2 added by Nock. 4. Paranomias tes Carta Herwerden. 5. So Walton, AV, editors before Boissevain read Pay Thontai, amended by Herwerden, Dindorf to Pay Sontai, J. E. Demetrius I in 161 SC. This was the occasion for the first Jewish embassy to Rome, CP 1 Mac 8, and Josephus Ant Jewish well 417 F, who purport to give the text of the senatorial decree. The unamended Greek text says, having revolted from the temple, Herwerden, though with an eye rather to the revolt against Antiochus I in 166 ZCEE, amends to read from the Syrian king. See my discussion. 4. J.P. 77, 1956, 413,414. 2. Herwerden would amend to read lawless behavior against the Jews. So Herwerden, Opa. 2. Eugenes A. 8. So Nock, Christen Miss. Eklusen or Ekbasen Herwerden. Hegemones Jacobi suggests Dunames. 5. So Ed. Hoeschel, in margin, D. Re-e-e-eat ane Geer won the rest of this passage. E. Jacobi, F. No. 264, 4-6 is based on the work of Hecataeus of Abdera, whose Aegyptiaca, written at the court of Ptolemy I, included what is perhaps the earliest Greek account of Jewish history and practices. C.P. W. Jaeger, Journal of Religion, 1938, 127,143. J. Gutman, The Beginnings of Jewish Hellenistic Literature, Jerusalem, 1958, 1958, 3973, in Hebrew, who argues that Hecataeus Judaica was a separate work, and F. Ray Walton, Thiel, Reverend 48, 1955, 255,257. Despite a number of errors, it is notably more sympathetic than the source followed in Books 34-5. 1. 2 Key P. Tes, Plagues of Egypt, enumerated in Exodus 712. 3. In Books 34-5. 1. The persons expelled are not aliens, but lepers. See note ad loc. For the prohibition on engraven images, see Exod 20:20. 4. In extant Greek literature, the word anthropomorphos apparently occurs first in this passage of Hecataeus and in Epicurus fra. 353, though the concept goes back at least to Xenophanes. 3. Hecataeus, perhaps misled by the occasional use of heaven as a surrogate for the ineffable name of God, Ep. Oranos in 1 Mace. 3. 1819, 50, 60, Dan. 4. 23 has interpreted this in terms familiar to Greek thought. The Tes, Becker, Tetates. 1. CP. Dor. 2. 29. 1. The Hecataeus makes a similar comment about the Egyptians, CP. Above, Book 1. 80. 3. In both passages, there is an implicit contrast with the common Greek practice of exposing unwanted infants. Josephus, against Apion. 2. 202 speaks of this as an express injunction of the law, though it does not, in fact, occur in the Mosaic codes. Keep. However, the recurrence be fruitful and multiply throughout Genesis, and the condemnation of Onan, General 38, 810 O. Wessling, Milesius. 2. Basileia after Nabatean deleted by Dindorf. 3. So, Dindorf, Seep. Strabo, 11. 2. 14 p. 497, 11. 2. 19 p. 499, Solnus v. 4t, added by Dindor. 5. Phylaxus D's men Diaphylaxus Hawerden. Undoubtedly, the false ascription to Hecataeus of Miletus, see critical note, comes from Photius rather than Diodorus. 3. This inscription may be compared both with the Columna Rostrata of C. Duilius and with the Res Gestae of Augustus. 3. Ariobarzanes I, king of Cappadocia. 4. i.e., the Scythian Achaia. See Appian Myth, 102, Strabo. 11. 2. 12 p. 495. 5. Or Artaces, Dio Cassius, 37.2, Appian, with 103. 6. Cyrene had been organized as a province in 75-4 BCE, tie, the Black Sea and the Persian Gulf. Sopheda, Miller, Catacreon 8. 2. Sopheda, Miller, Oclon S. 310, added by Feder. 4. Prosoizontas Herwarden, Dimdorf. 5. Sopheda, Miller, Parexosminus 8. 1. Pliny, v. H7, 9798, says that the dedication was made to Minerva. Apparently, Diodorus completed the story of Pompey's eastern campaign and his subsequent triumph before taking up the Catilinarian conspiracy. 2. To Sergius Catilina and P. Cornelius Lentulus Sura. 3. The Saturnalia, Plutarch, Cicero, 18. 2. Sallust, Cat, 43. 4. Q. Curious. The woman was a certain Fulvia. Our sources differ somewhat on the exact occasion of her informing on the conspirators, but Sallust at least suggests that she was employed by Cicero as a spy. Sallust, Cat. 26 and Ep. 23. Appian BC. 2. 8. Plutarch, Cicero, 16. 2. Apparently refers to an earlier plan. Phasinoti, added by Feder. 2. So Feder Miller, per Oligais, Emirates 8. 3. So Feder, Dindorf, Emilus 5. 4. So Feder Miller, Anastasios, S5. So Miller, Kekarismenes, Omiliaes 8. Or, after Marcos deleted by Hawerden, Mai, misled by his false reading Catilinen, amended Cointon to Lucian. For Keliwossi Dindorf then proposed Kolowusi, accepted by Becker. Dindorf compounds confusion by gratuitously inserting Lucian before Cointon. 2. So Mai, or V, Metasestai V, ed. Boissevain, Meta Stenai Hawerden. Q. Lutatius Catulus, consul in 78 and censor in 65 HCE. One of the most highly respected members of the Senate. Tyrannisch, Reverend et. Geer. 17, 1904, 511, comparing the fragment with Cicero's First Catilinarian 2021, argues that it presents a more authentic account of what occurred than the edited speech, which was not published till 3 years after the event. Cicero at 2. 1. 3. The credit for establishing an intelligible text of this important passage belongs to Hawerden, who recovered the name of Catulus, where May had misread Catiline. See critical note. 3. Rethenti Palin Nock, Palin Rethenti V, Palin Erotenti Hawerden. 4. So Hawerden, Fuges VX, added by Dindorf. See Book 1, 1, 4, 6. 2. So Dindorf, Keep. Book 1, 5, 1. Paradigma V. 3. Paralaphenai Pistuomenon Boissevain. Keep. Book 1, 5, 1. Paralaphenai Dindorf, Paranai May. The promised discussion may have come in connection with the great earthquake at Rhodes, mentioned in Book 26. 8. The account of Pallas probably appeared in the narrative of the Second Servile War. Zep. Book 36. 3 and 36. 7. 1. Zoilus of Amphipolis, a 4th century Cynic philosopher. A number of works are ascribed to him. His denunciations of Homer won him the nickname Homeromastix. Keep. See. Book 31. 8. 10. And note ad loc. Dindorf gives this as one of his fragmenta dubia. His 2 other doubtful fragments are here omitted, as they seem certainly to belong to other authors named Diodorus. Also omitted are a number of unidentified passages in Suidas that have been tentatively ascribed to Diodorus by some scholars. 1 ed. Hermann, Leipzig, 1812. Enai Stratiotas, en Strateas Dindorf. 3 ed. Migni Patrologia Graeca, vol. 136, Probaleta 1, Ath Codex Athos 4932. 2 p. omits Kai Malin, Pe Romano. 3 authors Dielthan L, Elthan P, 4 Santhama LNT, Poleal L510, Rian L, the scribe originally omitted, Emira a scribe originally omitted, Emira I Tai. 7 O Romaean. A. She. Oxite Panegyrizusi Romaio IP. 8 Sodragumis T. LRP omits Orti a Gesta. 10 Rods Ipies Miela Toa. 11 Oklos P. Demos L. 5 Epusiel. 1. A slightly abbreviated version of this passage has long been known from the Constantinian Hasapta de Virtutibus et Vitiae. It lacks, however, the reference to Plutarch and Diodorus, and since it seemed to rest on no authority earlier than the 7th century chronicler, it was all but ignored. The full text was published by S.P. Lambros in 1904 as part of an extensive fragment of John of Antioch in its original form, preserved in Codex Athaus 4932, but the publication attracted little attention. Our passage is immediately preceded by familiar material on Sulla's dictatorship drawn chiefly from Plutarch, Sulla 3132-34, who is at one point cited by name. The present story, however, despite the express citation of Plutarch and Diodorus, has no known parallels. It is not clear whether these authors are cited for the whole episode or only for the detail of the barbarian raid. At best, it is a garbled version of the facts, but it possibly reflects, however unfaithfully, Diodorus's account, of which so few fragments survive. The second dictatorship, attributed to Sulla, may be the result of a clumsy attempt to combine material from different sources. In general, the elements of the story seem to fit better the context of Sulla's first consulship, 88 than any time after his return to power, late in 82 5.6. If the earlier date is correct, the passage should follow books 38:9, 5, otherwise it belongs with books 38:9, 17:19. No festival of Rhea, Sibyl, or May Bellona was celebrated at Rome on January 1. For a discussion of this and other problems of interpretation, see my article, A Neglected Historical Text, Historia 14 1965, 236,251, Esprit p. 251, SB p. 2 Thayer, L. 3. Lambros wrongly gives the reading as 2. 4p omits Menuses. A. G. All and inserts after diasophisato below. Menuses, Tinus, ek ton Pantacothan, Upakun, Barbaron, Epidromas, Epiphainusas. 5p omits Tauta. 6. Demj Deker.